Hey the YouTube, how's it going? This is my first video I'm going to put on YouTube. It's the subject of this video is going to be my hand tattoo and just kind of hand tattoos in general. I don't know if that's a good shot. It's an anchor. So anyway, I wanted to do a video on just hand tattoos in general and my experience having one, the experience of getting it, pain. I will go farther into that and the repercussions of having one. I shouldn't say repercussions, but just the effect of having one. And if you're kind of on the fence about getting a hand tattoo, I would definitely think it through. So anyway, to start it off, I always wanted to get tattoos, and then once I did, a hand tattoo was definitely one of those tattoos I always wanted to get. There's just something about a hand tattoo. I think they're very aesthetically pleasing. There's just something about a hand tattoo. I don't know if it's because you see them a lot, and when you're around somebody that has a hand tattoo, you just notice it very quickly. So I don't know, there's just something about your hands that looks really cool with a hand tattoo. I always liked when I saw people with them, it just looks really cool. So I had tattoos for about a year and a half, and then I finally decided to go and get a hand tattoo. I was on vacation. It was a really cool experience. I'm not going to get too much into the interaction with the artist and myself, but when I got the hand tattoo, the pain, obviously it's a pretty painful tattoo, I'm not going to lie. Still wasn't as bad as my ribs. I have my ribs done, and I usually get black and gray, and it was pretty intricate on my ribs, so that one still takes the cake, but the hand tattoo is a close second. I mean, it was painful, but it wasn't quite as bad as I thought. I've heard a lot of horror stories about hand tattoos. I'm a pretty skinny dude to start with, so, it's my hands, there's just nothing there. I am really skinny. So, that kind of adds to the pain a little bit, but it still wasn't horrible. I think it's pretty doable for somebody that has, a decent amount of tattoos or just kind of a tough person in general. So I went and got the tattoo. It was a cool experience. I handled the pain a lot better than I thought. I think I was in the chair for an hour, hour and a half. It was really cool. Dude was really cool. Great experience. Worked with me on the design. We got the design down. It was just really cool experience. Really cool guy. Anyway, what this video is going to be more or less about is kind of the effects of having a hand tattoo and what I've noticed having a hand tattoo. So when I first got it, I was absolutely in love with my tattoo. I mean, I think that's how you should be. If you're not, I think maybe you shouldn't be getting tattoos. But I got it, and I was in love with it for a month, 2 months. And then I kind of went through this weird phase with it where I really started to realize that people look at you a lot different when you have a hand tattoo. And it wasn't it bothered me that, oh, they think, a lot of people think you're a criminal or something when you start getting hand tattoos, and it's mainly older people. I had some experiences where, I go to shake somebody's hand and they would see my hand tattoo and they wouldn't even shake my hand. I had a couple of those. I've just had weird things where I'll be talking to people and I'll grab something and they'll see my hand and they'll just kind of jump. And I don't think it's a fear thing. I think it's just people aren't used to it. It's just not, you just don't see as many hand tattoos as you do forearms. It's once, it's when you have a tattoo on your arm, as long as it's not offensive, I don't really think people really care that much anymore. Some of the really old people seem to it affects them still. Anyway, so I had a phase probably, two to 6 months after I got my hand tattoo. I had this phase of where I just really didn't like it. I actually kind of thought about getting it covered up, which I'm really glad I didn't, because I look back now and it's I just went through a rough time just in my personal life. But anyway, it really bothered me that a lot of employers don't want them. There's a lot of people that just don't see them as a very respectable tattoo. It's just kind of odd to me how you can have sleeves and be mostly inked up, but once you get a hand tattoo or get them on your neck or your face, it's people just totally look at you differently. And I guess I understand the face tattoo. I still feel a face tattoo is a pretty extensive, I mean, that's you better be into tattoos, and that better be your life if you're going to get a face tattoo. I mean, that's just a really bold thing to do in my opinion. Even the neck tattoo, it doesn't really faze me when I see somebody with a face tattoo, but with a neck tattoo, but when you see somebody with a face tattoo, it really stands out. So, I went through a couple months where I really wanted to get it off. I actually looked at how much it cost, and I went through kind of just doing research on it, Sorry. And I just kind of realized that it's like, you know what, like, I'm gonna just tough it out. Like, if I don't like it, you know, it's just, it's a, you know, if you get a tattoo, you know it's permanent. Like, you can't really whine about it later because, you know, you didn't think it through. I think that just kind of comes with the territory. Um, so anyway, I got about 6 months in, and then I kind of started to get used to liking it again. And now I'm just really glad that I kept it. Like, you know, or, you know, I don't cover it up or anything. I mean, I know it's hard to cover up your hands, especially when you have a physical job, but it's just very, you know, it's just a part of who I am now. It's not anything I do different. I mean, it's like, it's just who I am, is having a hand tattoo. But I will say, I did, before I get the tattoo, I did ask my boss what he thought, and yeah, my boss is totally blasted. He's got tattoos everywhere except his hands. And he said, you know, it's kind of up to you. If you want to get it, it's fine, but, you know, it won't lose your job here, but, you know, in the future, if you try to get another job, it could affect it there. So, I mean, looking back though, I mean, more on the thing about society. Society definitely looks at you differently. Like, you know, younger people, people my age, I'm in my like late 20s, people that are my age and a little older and a little and definitely younger, they don't seem to have an issue with it. Like, if I go somewhere where it's predominantly people my age, it doesn't really even faze people usually. It's definitely the older crowd. It's definitely some older people really have a problem with it. Surprisingly, not too many people in my family really seem to care that much. I think they just look at it like, oh, he's already got tattoos, you know, whatever, who cares? But I will caution you, if you plan on getting a hand tattoo, I would definitely think about it more than like getting any other tattoo. I mean, like I said, I had like most of my arms done, and I have like some tattoos on my torso and my legs. And I would think about a hand tattoo way more than any of those. I mean, especially like something on your shoulders, or, you know, I have some stuff on my calf. It's like, you know, you can cover those up really easily if you want to. But your hand, I mean, it's out there. I mean, even when I wear long sleeve shirts, it's like, you know, I have tattoos just because I have a hand tattoo. Anyway, I hope like other people, if people view this and like kind of hear where I'm coming from, see what their opinion is. I'd love to hear other people's opinion. There's definitely like not as many. I know a lot of people that have tattoos, but I don't know very many people that have hand tattoos. And, you know, that was another interesting thing, was even my friends that have tattoos. I mean, I have friends that have a lot of tattoos, and even they were a little weird about it. Like, oh man, you got a hand tattoo? And it's like, yeah. I feel like it's a lot more accepted with women. I've noticed that. Like, there's a lot of women that get like hand tattoos. Like, even like the neck. You see a lot of women with a tattoo behind their neck, or their ear, excuse me. It's like, that's just way more accepted. Like, if you're a guy and you start getting tattoos back there, it's like, you know, it's a lot more, it's just looked at differently. So anyway, that was kind of like a quick rundown of my hand tattoo experience, and, you know, just everything about it. I'm really happy with the hand tattoo. Oh, that's one thing I forgot to talk about, was the healing. The healing on a hand tattoo is way different than I think any other tattoo I've ever had, because I don't know if it's the wear of like that skin's always getting stretched. Like when you make movement, you know, right there, it's like that skin's kind of getting stretched around a little bit. But the hand tattoo, it really heals weird. Like it, I mean, I love it, but like it's still not like a perfect heal. Like, and I did everything I know to do with, you know, I do the Aquaphor technique where you don't really like wash it a shitload. You just keep putting like Aquaphor on there, and it works for me on like all my other tattoos. I know not everybody loves that method, but it works for me. I did that on my hand tattoo, and it worked. I think it worked a lot better than if other stuff I could have done, but I would still say, like, if you get a hand tattoo, like, be ready for the healing process, because it's kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest with you, because it's, you know, once you take the cellophane or saran wrap off, it's like, you know, you gotta really baby it. And, you know, for first couple weeks of having it, it was like, I was pretty, like, careful of what I did with my hands, just to, like, maybe, I was maybe overdoing it, but anyway, that was probably like the worst part about having a hand tattoo, is just the healing. And it wasn't a pain thing, it's just a pain in the ass, that kind of pain. But it was, you know, it wasn't horrible. I've been pretty lucky and not had like too bad of healing processes with my hand or any tattoo. I think the worst one I had was on my stomach, and that was like when I was first new to tattoos, and like I didn't really know the process all that well. That one didn't really do too well, but other than that, they've been fine. Anyway, I'm starting to get a little long-winded here. So that was kind of like my breakdown of like a hand tattoo and like just my experience with it. I think society, if for the most part you don't have like a really abrasive one, I think you'll be fine. I will say though, if I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt and just my hand tattoos out, it's definitely different than if I have a t-shirt on and you see my other tattoos. Like if I have a t-shirt on, like my right arm's pretty much all done. It's not a sleeve, it's pieces, but you know, it's pretty much done. So I have noticed if I have a t-shirt on, it's even more in people's face, I think. It's a little different, but for the most part, if you get one, I think you're fine. I would double check with your job. I mean, some of the people would probably think that's a pussy thing to do, but you know, I like my job and they were cool with it, so I don't really see the harm in doing that. But be cautious though. It does change your life a little bit more than you'd probably think. People look at you differently, and you know, jobs, you just got to be ready to understand that, like with a hand tattoo, it's, you know, you just have a different approach at life. So you know, some jobs just aren't going to take you because of a hand tattoo, and that's just the reality of it. But if you love tattoos like I do, I think it's more than, you know, you should go for it. Anyway, thanks YouTube. This is my first video. I hope it was good. If you enjoyed what I said, disagree, agree with me, whatever, I'd like to hear about it. I appreciate you watching this, and I hope you have a good day.